So good morning from me too. Allow me to start by thanking the Lithuanian Ministry for this great invitation and this opportunity to speak to the stakeholders of mobility in Lithuania. I'm going to continue in the same trend, in the same spirit with Ricardo, my colleague from Google. And I'm going to talk to you, first of all, I'm going to explain to you what is ERTICO ITS Europe, and then I'm going to share with you some of the trends that are being discussed in Brussels where ERTICO is based. So we are the, here, yes. So ITS, what is ITS? Intelligent Transport Systems. We are the association of stakeholders that are working with or on intelligent transport systems. And we have in our partnership 130 members, more or less, in 8 sectors. And these sectors are public and private. So we have traffic and transport industry, we have the automotive industry, the vehicle manufacturers, as you see in the slide. We have users, we have also public authorities, research centers, service providers, and so on. What is very interesting and very important is that within our partnership, we have more public sector stakeholders than we have private. But what is this shows is this willingness to cooperate and co-create the future of mobility between the two sectors. So, of course, we are ITS Europe, but the geographical scope of our organization is Europe and Middle East. And am I pointing this the right direction? Yeah. And I wanted to show you some of our partners, the slide that shows all our partners, but it's very tiny, you cannot read it, but it looks like dots, and that is exactly what we're doing. We are connecting the dots. We are trying to make mobility something that is important for the public and the private sector, for everyone, and of course our aim is also to be aligned with the strategies and the policies that are being discussed at the European level in Brussels, and especially the Sustainable and Smart Mobility Strategy. We have set targets for ourselves and the entire partnership of the 130 stakeholders that I showed you before, and these targets are very important for us. They have to do with decarbonization, safety, and efficiency, and as you see, we have very specific targets for 2050 on CO2 emissions, on saving lives, and efficiency. I'm going to show you the roadmaps of the 4 areas that we are working on, but what you see in the middle of the slide is this barometer where we want to measure the milestones as we reach them throughout the process of our work. So the 4 areas that we are working on as a partnership are clean and eco-mobility, connected and cooperative and automated mobility, this is called CCAM, urban mobility and transport and logistics. And you see the roadmaps, and these roadmaps really agreed, discussed after a long consultation with all our members. And what you see in color coding, different colors, are the projects, the innovation projects that we are running with our partners, and innovation platforms that we run in support towards reaching these goals for the different areas. And let me take you through the 4 focus areas and giving you the trends as were discussed already by the ministry and the city of Vilnius before, but also by our colleagues from Google. So CCAM, let's start with that. The aim is to go towards accelerating automation, connectivity for safer and smarter mobility. It's not only words. Automation and connectivity are very, very important for the mobile network aided by the mobile network technologies, of course, 5G, 6G, and beyond. Artificial intelligence, big data, cybersecurity, these are the topics that we are working on as ERTICO ITS Europe and supported by the European Commission funding. And we want to go towards driverless mobility, towards level 5, which for some people, of course, is still a dream. My colleague yesterday from TomTom, he was speaking in the other room, and he was saying, he doesn't see this happening soon. The point is, we have a target to reach, and that is what we are aiming for. Of course, all the focus areas that I'm mentioning and the roadmaps that I'm talking about and all these trends are connected. We shouldn't be looking at mobility in silos, but as a system. So CCAM is supporting what is happening in urban mobility, and clean and eco-mobility is very important for urban mobility and transport and logistics as well. So let me take you to the urban mobility trends, where we are going towards driverless, seamless mobility for all. And very important is mobility as a service, or MaaS, as we call it. MaaS is being discussed since 2014, and we have an innovation platform which is working or functioning under the umbrella of the ERTICO partnership, and it is connecting all the stakeholders on MaaS, discussing on the definition, on the business models, on how to deploy mobility as a service. And this is a discussion that is going on, and it's a very important one, this modal shift. Multimodal mobility network management. This is something that we are thought leaders on. It's very much, it's a hot topic, let's say, in Brussels at the moment. And we are trying to understand, as I said, how the system works. How is it possible to balance the traffic of all modes so that we don't have the spillover of one congested traffic of congested traffic in one mode towards the other. And we had a very good discussion last night with the city of VILNIUS and the ministry as well, and you are very much aligned in this country. Under urban mobility still, open common data spaces, business to business, government to business, and so on. This open data, shared data, is a very important topic, which is being discussed for quite some years, but now the Commission is really taking action, working on the on the mobility data spaces, on the architecture, on how to make sure that there is a space where this data is being exchanged, of course, beyond the safety-related traffic information, which is obligatory to be open and shared. Common evaluation methods and impact assessment and KPIs. This is also very important because we have been running projects. In ERTICO, we run 23 projects per year with our partners, innovation projects, paid and funded by the European Commission, your money, your tax money. And it's very important to have a common evaluation methodology, have KPIs that help us, have an approach, a harmonized approach towards what is happening in Europe. How do we measure ourselves going forward? Interactive traffic management, TM2.0, and I have a slide towards the end on that as well. We are under the ERTICO umbrella, in the ERTICO partnership. As I said, we are running innovation platforms. One of them is TM2.0, it's the traffic management of the future. Also founded in 2014, we are really trying to make sure that there's an alignment between what you see in your car when you're driving through the service providers and navigation applications and so on, and what you see with the VMS on the street. Because until 5 years ago, there was this discrepancy, this gap where you were told follow A4 or from the VMS sign, but your navigation was saying something else, and then you as a user, as a driver, had to choose, which makes driving really dangerous. But I'll tell you more. Societal uptake and ITS. So it is good to have technology. It is good to progress and go for innovations, but if the society, if the users themselves don't understand the benefits and the value of this, it's not going to be uptaken, it's not going to happen, and the benefits are not going to be felt by anyone. Let me take you to the area of clean mobility with the aim of reducing environmental impact. So it's all about electromobility, using ITS to make electric vehicle use more attractive, smart systems to reduce pollution over older vehicles, the relationship of the vehicles and the grid and the integration of electric vehicles into the road and logistics systems, testing, demonstrations, and so on. We are all talking about electromobility. Some countries have very strict targets, like the Netherlands, where I live. But some other countries, they have the strict targets for electromobility, for the use of electric cars, but they don't have the charging stations. And there is a city in Europe that has only, it's actually a big city, and has only 2 charging stations in the entire city where 1 million people live. That is really, that should not be happening. So it's not only the technology, it's also the planning, the political will, and the cooperation of all the stakeholders and the integration of EVs into the grid. Transport and logistics, the entire day yesterday was dedicated to that topic in this forum. And the aim is to create digital infrastructure for freight transport and logistics operation, interoperability on trusted data exchange, full digitalization of what until yesterday was paper, and automation in logistics value chains, and moving towards the physical internet. It's are the targets in our work in this focus area. So the challenge, and my friend from Google was talking about it, challenges and opportunities. The challenge is now, we are already going through the digital revolution. It doesn't start now, it has started already. We should prepare, we should be fast in addressing the challenges. And the situation with the war and the understanding on how we are dependent on certain types of energies is really putting the challenge in front of our door. The integration of new generation mobility, such as micromobility, is another challenge. Micromobility meaning not only scooters and these kind of shared modes, but also bicycles. And we have a very interesting discussion within the ERTICO partnership on micromobility and bicycles, and if cycling is ITS or related to intelligent transport systems or not. And it's a great discussion. The point is, more and more cities, more and more urban authorities, public authorities, are devoting lanes towards cycling and this mode. But if we don't have the data from the cyclists, how can we integrate this mode into the entire traffic or mobility management? That is one of the challenges that we are facing in ITS, and also how to make use of the devices that the cyclists are having on them, like the mobile phone and so on. There are cities like Copenhagen that they have integrated the the management of the cycling lanes into the entire city of traffic management. Another point is the trust factor when using AI and credential management systems, so the use of CITS and so on. The trusted data, the valid data, the accurate data, how can you make sure that the information that you're receiving as a user, as a service provider, as a ministry is to be trusted? That is also very important. Demystification and education on how safety-related systems in transport work and what is automated transport where the system takes over. This entire discussion, driverless car, what is the safest option, type approval, and so on. And there's actually a lot of work being done by the European Commission funding training courses, raising awareness on the safety of automation. ERTICO also runs an ERTICO Academy where we are sharing the information that we have collected for so many years within the ERTICO partnership with ministries around Europe. And we also had a very successful set of trainings in Turkey to 6 different cities and the ministry as well, because they're preparing for their SAMs, the Sustainable Urban Mobility Plans. The upgrade of skills and social inclusion. There is a lot of fear still among the public on what is happening with automation, how many jobs are being lost, and what jobs are being created. What skills do we need from now on? What is important for this for the results of this digital revolution that we are going through. And the social inclusion is also very much related to this accessibility, affordability, livable cities. The mobility of tomorrow, and it was mentioned as well, should be accessible to all and affordable to all. Big data and data ecosystem in IoT, with mobility network management and Internet of Mobility. This is the systems approach that I was referring to. This is the idea that we should be looking at the transport system as a whole and not in silos, using big data, AI, everything that technology can help us with. Verse for connecting data networks. This is, very well what is happening there with this metaverse, with the networks of data being connected, and how virtual reality and more are coming into the discussion. And finally, enabling multimodality and mass through single payment systems. This is a discussion taking place within the mass community, how to make available services and products under the mobility as a service that are satisfying the business models of more than one mobility service providers, and how to work on single payment systems, and if this is possible. And this is the slide I was talking about. This is the TM 2.0, the interactive traffic management, the traffic management of tomorrow, or the future of traffic management, where you see the information loop going from the traffic management operator to the road operator to the service providers, such as TomTom, let's say, or here, or INRIX, and then informing the driver, but this information loop should be going back. So the idea in TM 2.0 is that you have a common operational picture for all the stakeholders involved in the traffic management, road-based. So you have this value chain that is exchanging constantly information, and everyone is aware of what is happening on the road. And this presupposes this collaboration between the public and the private sector, which is in our DNA in the ERTICO partnership, and also this co-petition. And this is a term coined within or under the TM 2.0 innovation platform, and it means the cooperation of competitors, where competitors continue to compete, but they cooperate towards attaining the objectives and the targets set by the public authorities. So when the city of Vilnius decides to geofence an area and close an area because there's a school, because there's an event and so on, the service providers, traffic information service providers, are made aware. They know why this is geofenced and why the city authorities are asking the service providers not to route vehicles on that road, and the number of reasons for it, and they actually abide, all of them, without thinking twice that they are going to lose the client or the customer because they are rerouting using a longer route, because it is for the public good. That is the understanding that is being shared under this TM 2.0 platform. And again, it has 42 member stakeholders, public and private, cities, ministries, but also service providers and industry. And that is, I think, my last slide, where I wanted to show you how these principles of collaboration, trust, and co-petition are actually being elevated to the system level, to the mobility network management, and how this common operational picture of what is happening on the road in the case of TM 2.0, now on the mobility network with the different modes, so walking and cars and trains and so on, is to be shared with all the stakeholders that are participating in this management. And this is in this mobility network management. And this is the result of the cooperation of the two innovation platforms of TM 2.0 and the Mass Alliance. This is a very important discussion that we are having with the stakeholders in Brussels. And it's really bringing, it is very complex, of course, it's not easy, how to find the best business models that satisfy this win-win-win for all. One win is the public, the other win is the private sector, and the third win is the user. And how to make sure that this common operational picture, this data, is available for everyone to see, and how to make sure that everyone understands that they have a share of responsibility in keeping the mobility network flowing and not congested. So I think that was my last slide, and thank you very much for your attention, and again, thank you for the opportunity to share this information with you.